Hey guys, it's Rich here from the Rich Mix, and we're on now on episode 3, and I'd love to introduce our awesome guest, Anil Puri. Thanks for coming on board, Anil.
Thanks for having me, Richard.
No worries. And a little bit about Anil. Neil runs his own coaching consulting business called the Profit Coach, and you've had that business now since 2005, helping business, and the name actually speaks for itself. So we all know why people want to join up to get more profit, make more money. So and just to let everyone know, Neil and I work on a side project together as well, which we'll talk about later on in the episode. So thank you for giving me a little bit of your time,
No,
Anil.
all
I
good,
appreciate
Rich, all
that.
good, and good quick intro there.
Yeah, that's it. And so tell us a little bit about your background and how you got just a little bit from the early days.
Mate, early days, from school days. I
Yeah,
suppose. So I went to uni, obviously after year 12. Did a Bachelor of Commerce degree, with
yeah,
majoring in accounting. So hopefully your audience doesn't put off your audience. So
yeah,
I'm an accountant by trade originally.
yeah,
Worked in corporate for a lot of years. Also some smaller businesses. I was the financial controller for some businesses, with around about 50 staff. But I worked at NRMA, Origin Energy, a lot of these big corporates. Did a stint overseas as well. So I think it was 98 and 99. My wife and I lived in London for a couple of years.
yeah.
Um, Came back, did a bit of work, and then decided to start my own business and got into business coaching. So that's a bit of the background.
And haven't looked back at all.
No, no, no. As with every business, it's
Yeah,
not all smooth sailing, and I think that's and if most of your audience here are listening and they have businesses, they understand that there's a lot to learn. It can be lonely, and
yeah,
there are ups and downs. I think
yeah,
what people who don't have businesses don't appreciate is the steady cash flow that comes from a regular job. Um,
yeah,
so I've been the same. I've had to build, I've had to take on clients in the early days that I probably wouldn't take on now. It's
yeah.
it's the same normal story for every business, I think.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Like, can you share that journey into that business coaching in the early days and what inspired you to start?
Yeah. Okay. Uh, so I suppose I did. So after my accounting qualifications, I also did a Masters of Management.
Yeah,
Degree, and through that process, working with other people as part of the course, they were from marketing backgrounds, HR backgrounds. I realised that I could talk more than just the numbers, and I really enjoyed doing that. I didn't want to just be a numbers person.
hmm,
And then I was up at Noosa with some friends holidaying, and back in the day when there used to be magazines,
yeah,
there was the BRW, which we'd probably remember, but
yeah, yeah,
maybe some of the younger ones wouldn't. It's a business
yeah,
magazine, and there was a big insert in there for a coaching group that was advertising, and my original thought was, oh, let's join a coaching group and get paid to learn about small business.
yeah,
But then I got talking to them, and I found out that it was actually a franchise operation. So I actually ended up paying them to become a coach.
Good marketing on their end
Yeah, it
is
was, but I learned so much, So I learned so much from that group because they were very entrepreneurial, very sales focused, whereas my background was more business management and financials. So I learned a lot. Really appreciate that whole experience. And the reason I suppose I wanted to do it is because I just wanted to get out of corporate where you're just a cog in the machine, and just work directly with businesses, with business owners. I tell the story sometimes that my father's a doctor. He used to be an orthopedic surgeon, and so he's got his own office. He goes and helps people, works with them directly. And I thought I could do something similar to that, like in a business setting.
yeah, no, perfect. And what have been like the most common challenges you've seen in business that business face over the years?
I mean, there's so many. Obviously, I've already touched
Yeah,
on a few, but
yeah,
I think one of it is when you leave an employee, being an employee and start your own business, you think you've got all this freedom, and that's why we want to
mhm,
do it. We want freedom, we want financial rewards, But that lack of accountability, I think people miss that. They may not think that they're going to miss that, but
Yeah.
then a lot of people I work with, they want to work with me because they want to stay on track.
Yeah.
They want someone to keep them accountable,
Yeah.
someone to help them with direction. So I think it's that piece that I think a lot of people don't realize they're going to miss, that having someone else to talk to, having a boss or a team or someone to help discuss the direction and then keep
Yeah.
them on track.
Yeah.
So that's one of it. And the rest of it is just, there's so much to learn, which I think people may not realize straight up. They're normally good at what they do. They could be a great, hairdresser or beautician or tradesperson, but they need to learn about marketing and sales and managing a team and financials. There's all this stuff to learn. I think that's,
Yeah.
that can be a big challenge for people.
And has the landscape changed at all, like since you started?
Yeah, so I've been doing this, as you said, since 2005. So nearly, I think it's 19th year this year. So early on, there wasn't really a lot of awareness of business coaching. So I think in some ways, it's a lot easier now because if you mention business coaching, people understand it. Well, they've at least heard about it. And so I think that's, so there's a more of awareness. So you don't have to explain as much about what you do. But I think that the main changes have been there's a lot more niche coaching. So people are specialists in their particular area. So it could be a specialist physiotherapist coach or beauty or cosmetic type coach or lawyer coach. So I think that's really changed. And when I first started, it was all one-on-one type of coaching. So you just worked with one client directly you obviously have a few clients, but you work with one at a time. Whereas now the trend is more around having a community of clients. Like that's whether you call it group coaching or more of a community-based coaching approach, because I think what people have realized is that not only can you learn from the coach, but you can learn from each other and you can support each other. Everyone's got different ideas. They're trying different things. And when I get my clients together for these group days, like planning days, they learn less from me and more from everyone else. And sometimes I've been teaching them or telling them to understand this part of their business. And it's sort of, it's in there, like the message sort of gets in, but it's not until they hear someone else implementing that strategy that it really clicks. And I think that's, so that's a good trend. It's more of that community style of engagement with businesses.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Now, is there any story that, like, a success story that stands out that from a business that is completely, like, significantly, like, transformed after working with you?
Mate, it's been so many over the years. I've been doing it for a while. Actually, one comes to mind, which is I only just had lunch with this couple last week. Actually, husband and wife team, and I work with a lot of husband and wife teams and family type of businesses. So we got up for lunch, and last year they run a landscaping business, and I've been working with them for, I don't know, probably about 5 years or so. And over that time, there's been a lot of changes. But just in the last couple of years, they've really got things really well sorted. I've got a fantastic team, great systems in place. Last year, they've taken about, I'd say last year, about 16 weeks off, like to travel with their young family in their caravan around Australia. In different times. I think there was a 10-week block and then a couple of other 2 or 3 week blocks along the way. And so they've gone from really not having much of an idea at all, but they're super keen to learn, and I think that was the key, to now still being on the tools a little bit because it's a small business. So you've got to, it's not until you get a decent size where you can get off the tools. But, being able to take time off, they've got their team doing quoting, managing the jobs, spending time with their family, making a ton of money, and which for me as the profit coach is key.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
But I think it's some people think that you can't have both. Some people think you can't if you want more time off, then you're going to sacrifice money, but that's not the case. If you set things up right and you have the right team, then
The system for the people.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a really, and it's, for me, it's satisfying because they've got a young family, they can spend time with them. Before that, they were just stressed, and there's tension in the relationship as well.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
even though I'm not a marriage counselor,
Yeah, yeah,
it's just fulfilling to know that you help someone in business, they make good money, they've got time, there's less
yeah,
stress, and the family relationship is much better as well. So
yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Now, and especially family business can be a bit tricky, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
and you've probably seen it. You've
yeah.
been in business for a long time yourself.
Yeah. So how do you keep up with the latest trends and in the business coaching?
Um, yeah, I've always, even before I started coaching, I've always been a reader. I used to, even when I was at school or at uni, apart from obviously just the uni type books, I always read about self development. So I'm always looking for opportunities. So reading is a big one for me. Just in general, to keep up to date with new techniques or new ways of managing a business, or managing people. I go to seminars, so that's another big one. So I go to seminars. I have a look at what other business coaching groups are running. Go to their seminars, learn from them. And I've also got, just because I've been doing it for a while, and I was part of this other coaching group, I've got contacts that I speak with regularly, and we share ideas. So a little bit of like a mastermind group. So I think it's important just to have that forum, or that group you can share ideas with. But I'd encourage anyone just to stay, just to keep trying to learn, like about the industry, about business. I go to a lot of networking events as well. So and I learn a lot from talking to people. Just find out what they're doing, get ideas, left field ideas that they're doing in their business that I think, mate, I could do that in mine, or I've got clients that could really use that sort of that approach. So a wide range of things, mate, a wide range of things.
Yeah, you need to get out there and no, awesome. And so, what advice would you have for a new entrepreneur facing uncertainty in today's like market at the moment?
Yeah, I suppose it's probably particularly tough at the moment with interest rates, cost of living pressures, especially if you're doing B2C type work,
Yeah,
because people
yeah,
tend to pull back a little bit. Um, I think whether it's the market's a little bit tougher or not, you need to reach out to people and find good people that you can work with, because you can't be good at everything. Um,
yeah,
so either you work with them to help you get stuff done. So it could be
yeah,
marketing, it could be bookkeeping or whatever,
yeah,
or you just reach out and you learn from them.
yeah,
So I think that's, as we just talked about, and you made a comment. You got to get out there. You got to get out there, meet people,
yeah.
um, people within
Because
the industry, people outside of the industry. So
yeah,
just be always open to learning.
you can't be a one man band.
No, and even if you've got a team, you can't share a lot of the issues you've got and ideas you've got with your team, because a lot of time they look to you and you want to be positive for them, and be confident and know what you're doing, but you still need other people to talk to outside of the team. The other thing I'd really focus on is, instead of just learning about what to do in business and strategies, it's focusing on developing yourself. So the way you think, your confidence, positive attitude, those sorts of things. Because I think then when you're talking to other people, they want to be they want to be around positive people.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
So whether it's
Totally.
your team,
Yeah,
attracting people, they want to work in a positive environment.
yeah,
When you're networking or talking to other people, they want to be around positive people. So I think just focusing on being positive,
yeah,
even when things
yeah,
are a bit tough.
yeah, 100%. I would definitely agree with that. So, like in your experience, what is the key factor that distinguishes a successful business from a struggling business when you first do those initial chats?
I'd say knowing your numbers. There's a
Yeah,
few things. Knowing your numbers. Don't be
yeah,
afraid of knowing your numbers.
yeah,
I know it can be confusing, and sometimes financial people that you might be talking to, like your bookkeeper or your accountant, may not be the best
Mm.
people at explaining the numbers, and they might even make it more confusing.
Yeah.
But once you learn about the numbers, then it unlocks, yeah, so much potential in your business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one thing. Definitely marketing, being able to stand out, be known for what you do
Mhm.
in some way, whether it's great customer service or whether it's a specialist product or service. I think looking for that angle to get known.
Yeah.
And then, as I said before, being positive, being able to manage people, because
Yeah.
as you grow, you're going to need to work with people, whether it's your team or whether it's suppliers, whether it's consultants, partners. You got to
Yeah.
be, just learn how to, and there are a lot of tools you can learn to become better at working with people. So I suppose the big thing is, with all of that, it's all about be open to learning, and don't just accept that this is the way I am and I can't get any better. I
Mm.
think you've got to be open to, yes, I can become a better people person. I can learn about marketing. I can learn about financials.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not as difficult as you might think, especially
Yeah.
when you find the right people that you can learn from or work with. Um, yeah. So
Definitely. And I think, yeah, a lot of business owners, they're really good at their skill set and they literally palm off everything else to other people, but still don't know exactly what's happening in their
yeah,
business, and that's a big issue. So they need to do a bit of, their own learning and development in
and it
especially in
doesn't mean
numbers.
that they should do everything themselves. That's definitely not the case. But you need to, if let's say you're doing marketing, you need to learn the fundamentals so that when you're working with a marketing consultant, you've got to, that they're doing the right thing, or because there's so many people out there who, sure, you can trust, but they may not always be doing the
That's
wrong
right.
thing. And and coaching's the same. Coaching's the same. There's one example. I don't know if we've got time. Just one example. When I was part of this coaching group, there was a business locally that had worked with another coach in the group, and that business was so unhappy that they were going to take the coaching group to court, like they were going to sue them.
Wow.
And so they asked me to go and talk to this client, which was
Yeah.
difficult because they'd obviously already had a bad experience. Um, but because that coach had tried to do a cookie cutter approach to this business, and once I looked at the numbers and understood what was going on, luckily we could turn things around. So I don't know why I brought that up now, but anyway,
It was a good
that's an
example.
example of, I suppose, you can't always trust the consultant. You
Yeah.
need to learn a bit about what makes sense, how business should run, learn a bit yourself.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you can find, I mean, I've got a really great network now that I recommend my clients use. Um, and they trust me. They know I've done a good job. So therefore, they automatically have that trust. But not all businesses have that network. So you've got to learn, talk to people, learn for yourself. And then over time, you'll find those people that you can trust and suss them out.
You really answered that next question because the other one was like, how do you tailor your coaching to meet unique needs from different clients,
Yeah.
different businesses, because it is not that cookie cutter approach. You need
No.
to be able
And
to,
I've got models, I've got standard models I use that provide a framework, but then it's the variables are obviously the type of business, the stage of the business, because a smaller business compared to a larger business with a bigger team is going to have different issues, and then the person, the personalities in the business. So some people are really structured, and you can give them tools and advice that suits them. Other people are unstructured, and that same advice is not going to work for them, and they might need a different approach. So there's a couple of things. One is the personality, stage of business, so it's all tailored. And then the other thing is I really look at the numbers, look at the financials, and that tells me a lot. It tells me what's working, what the real situation is, because sometimes people they either they don't know themselves or they wear rose-colored glasses. So yeah, so it is about having some common frameworks that I know work well, but then picking bits of that to work on as priorities for different people and different approaches. So yeah, it can be tricky, but it sort of becomes second nature once you've done it for a while.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Definitely. So finally, so what's next for you, Anil? What's going? What upcoming projects or goals are you excited about at
Well,
the
I suppose
moment?
this links back to what you said at the start of the podcast that we're doing some stuff together. So that's really a big focus for me this year, Rich. As so we're building a business and a range of services under the Glam Growth Hub. Uh, that group, and the Glam Growth Hub is all about services for the beauty, cosmetics, industry, that sort of related industry. That's why it's Glam, and it's not just business coaching; it's bookkeeping, marketing. We've got all these partners on board, as you know. I don't have to be telling you, but that's I'm super excited about that. About working with these people that I know and I trust, and and providing a solution that I think a lot of people in this industry in particular need. A lot of people in this industry, um, they love working with people, they love what they do, but all the other stuff is just a headache, or they're not sure how to go about it. And so the whole idea is to be able to take that load off them. And super excited about.
It's not just an awesome, unique concept, but it's actually going to be really helping people in different facets in their business. From as you said, coaching to marketing and they're the things that those points that, when it comes to bookkeeping, it's just boring stuff. They don't like dealing. They just palm it off. They forget to do it. But if someone else is one person looking after all these different things, it's going to be so much easier for them.
Yeah, and the whole idea is that we can coordinate. So if we've got our bookkeeper working on a client,
Yeah,
I can liaise directly with the bookkeeper to find out what's
yeah,
going on and get
yeah,
things done, rather than going to the client then having to go to the bookkeeper, not sure what to ask them.
yeah. That's right.
Same with marketing.
You're talking the
It's
right language.
yeah,
That's the main thing.
yeah. Yeah, but I think it's exciting because it's just about helping people, and you've obviously got so much more experience in this sector and in this industry than me, and I think you've already shared this idea with people and they're really excited about it. So yeah, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
Creative bunch of businesses that we can definitely work with. So, all right. So enough about business. So, what tickles your fancy when the business shirt comes off and the coaching hat comes off? What do you do in your pastime? What do you do after work or on the weekend?
It's I love my downtime. Family is really important to me, so I spend quite a bit of time with family. Uh, so so I suppose I can summarize it: family, friends, food, and fitness. So family, yeah, obviously I love socializing, but I really love my food, Rich,
Yeah, I know.
as you probably know. So my father's Indian, my mother's Chinese from Malaysia.
Yeah,
So
all about the
I've
food.
grown up with lots of different food, but not just Asian stuff. I just love trying all sorts of
Yeah,
food, and I like to stay fit. So I run, I go to boot camp. I try to eat healthy, but sometimes you got to sacrifice the eating healthy for the tasty eating.
that's it. Yeah, yeah. No, that's it. No, all things in moderation for
Yeah.
sure.
So no, but I do love business, and I'm doing a course at the moment, part of another coaches. Like I'm actually doing a coaching program to help me develop some things at the moment. So even though I might not be working with clients on my, I still like enjoy
That's
learning
it.
that.
It's your own personal professional development for yourself to learn new things to
Yeah,
help your clients in the end of the day.
travel. I've got to start. I've got to find a word that starts with F that means travel. So I love visiting different countries and cultures and eating their food.
Eating, yeah, that's it. It comes down to eating. No matter where we go, what's on the plate.
Yeah.
No, fantastic, mate. Well, look, I really appreciate your time, and thanks so much for coming on board. And I'm sure a lot of the information that's given out is going to be quite enticing for a lot of people.
Yeah, no, thanks, Rich. I think what you're doing here is fantastic, and yeah, hopefully people get something out of it,
Yeah.
and yeah, happy to get some feedback.
Oh, fantastic! Well, thank you. Thanks again, and enjoy the rest of the day. And yeah, I hope we'll be catching up soon. I'm sure.
All right, thanks, mate.
Thanks, Adil.
Talk
Thank
soon.
you. See you, mate. Bye
Bye.
bye.